Hello, everyone, and welcome. My name's Tanya Davies. I'm the Success Slow Coach, speaker, trainer, and therapist, and today I'm here with Amy Hill. Amy is a freedom mentor. Sounds like an amazing title. Amy works in the space of domestic violence. Amy is a domestic violence survivor and is an amazing mentor in this space now. Amy's sitting here with me today because we're going to have a chat about the slow leadership movement. And I'd like Amy to have a bit of a chat now about Amy. What's your business and what kind of clients do you actually work with?
Thank you, Tanya. It's great to be here. I really appreciate you bringing me on here.
You're welcome.
So, yes, I'm a domestic violence survivor mentor and I'm a thought leader in this space, as well as a speaker and an author. So, I have three programs that I offer.
Mm-hmm.
They're in healing, mindset, and empowerment.
Yep.
And I also offer group coaching as well.
Excellent, great. Obviously, both of us work in the headspace with everyone in the
Yes,
work that we
yeah,
do, and it's probably one of the reasons that you and I seem to get each other, is because we
yeah.
both understand that when we're working in the mindset space, that's where the greatest change starts to happen. So, here's a big question to start off. You're a successful businesswoman. In the space that you're working in, why do you think people actually struggle the most with slowing down all their busyness in their lives?
I think I think the main reason is why they can't seem to slow down is I think they're just avoiding or deflecting an issue.
Yeah.
So I find with myself and what I've seen with clients as well that they're just avoiding something, and when they're avoiding that, then it's hard to slow down. They just create all of this busyness to
Yeah.
avoid it.
Yeah, it's become like a badge of honor nowadays. I'm so busy, isn't it?
Yes, yeah,
Yeah, yeah. It's probably one of the first things that I don't know when I ask my friends, "How you doing?" I'm so busy.
yeah.
I
It's an
actually,
automatic reaction.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, wouldn't it be nice if we all sort of said, I actually, a great friend who said once to me, "Actually, I'm really productive," and it had such a different resonance to it. And I thought, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
she's onto it. She knows her mindset. So shout out to you, Erin. So I'm just wondering if you could actually share a time in your life when either the universe decided to slow you down, let's put it that way, because that's happened to me a few times, or you actually consciously chose to slow down. And what did you learn from the experience?
Yeah, so like you, I've got quite a few examples, but probably the biggest one that I'd like to share is before I started this business, I was actually very successful senior executive manager at a commercial real estate agency, and I just opened up a profitable Pilates studio as well.
Wow.
So I was like,
You had your hands full.
this.
Yeah.
I was, yeah, very busy
Yeah.
and just going 100 miles an hour, very successful. And then all of a sudden, out of the blue, I wasn't expecting it, but I lost everything. So my business, my career,
Wow.
which was all due to my domestic violence experience.
Yeah.
So both of them just disappeared out of my life. And I was left heartbroken,
Yeah.
confused, lost. And it led me to a space where I was forced to take time out of work because I had no work.
Yeah. Thank you, universe. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
thanks.
Yeah.
But then that also led me to starting this business,
Yeah.
which I find is a lot more rewarding. And when I started this business, I was able to consciously create a work-life balance.
Ooh,
So
I like the use of the word conscious there.
yes,
Yeah.
definitely, it is a very conscious process because I noticed that while I was working 150%, I was working 80 hours a week.
Yeah.
I wasn't seeing my kids, I wasn't seeing my friends or family, and I was completely out of balance.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. People that know me would know that I've come from that workaholic coma background too.
Yeah.
So, what was your aha moment? Like when all that went down for you, when was that exact moment? Do you remember it that you just realized something had to change?
Well, it was probably over a period of time,
Yeah,
um, over a couple of weeks because I was in shock.
yeah,
And it took a while for things to set in and for me to actually reflect back and find gratitude in my journey and just know that everything happens for a reason.
absolutely.
And I often live by that
Yeah,
phrase.
yeah,
So I did find the gratitude and I was able to, then put my next foot forward and look into starting this business.
yeah.
So
There's a lot of women out there, especially a lot of my clients, that could also learn a lot from you in that space too. Yeah, and as we, I don't need to go into domestic violence too much here today because there's a lot of great content out there. And if anyone needs to know more about domestic violence and what it entails, and of course how to get through it, please jump on and contact Amy. And at the end, you'll see all the details available to contact Amy. But I think Amy, a lot of my clients in particular didn't even realize they were in the domestic violence space until somebody pointed it out to them.
absolutely, that's exactly what happens like the majority of times. And it happened to me as well. I took my ex to a psychologist for his alcoholic problems.
Yeah,
And the psychologist turned around and said, this is actually more than just alcohol issues here.
yeah,
And I was like, wait, what are you talking about?
yeah,
I had no idea.
yeah, yeah.
Reflecting back, it's very obvious,
You
but
don't know what you don't know, hey?
exactly.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of having someone like yourself or a coach like myself, a therapist, in that safe space to be able to hold you while you go through that realization because it's a bit of a
Absolutely.
shock to the system. So, what do you reckon your biggest learning? You used the word gratitude a bit there, but what do you reckon your biggest learning is when you did slow down?
My biggest learning was to create that work-life balance, to ensure that I live by my values every day. And if I do that, then I'm coming from a place where I'm more connected with myself.
Yeah,
So I'm able to make decisions that are in line with my values. And therefore, I find that if I do face a challenge, I just look to my values
yeah,
and then I can see, which way to go. And I'm not avoiding any situations. So I find that living by my values has really helped structure that.
yeah.
So it
Values are
includes
really important, aren't they?
absolutely, yeah,
Yeah,
and it helps you feel more centered within yourself.
yeah. I
So,
remember one of my last jobs in the corporate world. I just like you. I didn't know until I realized one day that my boundaries were being crossed and I was getting so upset and so angry, even with myself, for still being in that position because one of my highest values is integrity and authenticity.
yeah,
And once that was crossed and the trust was gone, that was it. I was done, but I was still going through the motions like you, busyness, trying to be successful in that space, but just getting worse and worse because every day my values were being crossed. Yeah.
yeah,
And that's not about putting out any negative impact to the rest of the world. That was about me having some self reflection and realizing actually the only way out of this is I need to remove myself from the situation.
yeah,
Just as in a domestic violence situation, the option is you need help, you need support to get out. So it wasn't like I could just leave the next day.
yeah,
Sound familiar?
absolutely. Need to put a plan in place.
Yep, very much so. So, what's the best advice you've ever received about actually slowing down?
The best advice I've received, besides living by my values,
Mm,
is to actually structure your day so that you know how efficient your day can be and your week can be.
mm-hmm.
So I've actually got a schedule that's run by 15-minute slots.
I love it.
So so it sounds like a lot of management, but
Yeah,
I mean it can be an hour slot.
Yeah.
So it's all about managing your time efficiently.
Yes.
And my day starts at 5 a.m. and it'll finish by 11 p.m. And I set my schedule on Monday every week.
Yeah.
So that will that will do the whole week. So including the weekends as well.
Yeah.
So I know exactly what I'm going to achieve during that week.
Yep.
And I can feel accomplished by knowing
Mm.
what I'm going to achieve.
Yeah.
Then I've got a list of what I can achieve or what I want to achieve for the next week.
And
So
so in that slow space, Amy, how do you handle spontaneity? Does that come into it for you?
it does, yes. There is a plan for that.
Good. Good.
So
I hope there's the occasional bubble bath in there.
oh yeah, I schedule that too.
Good.
With the spontaneity, I look for where it'll be the less impact.
Yeah.
So I'm aware of, if I don't have any appointments this afternoon, for example,
Yeah.
then if somebody says that they're keen for a social catch up, yeah, sure, let's do that.
Yeah.
And then whatever activities I had for this afternoon, I'll do them on the weekend when I did have some social time,
Yeah.
scheduled.
It's about balance and compromise, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you got to want it. I know so
Yeah.
many people that give me a call because they want to work with me, and they're just not ready. Yeah,
Yeah.
you need to be at the threshold of going. Actually, I need to grab this, and I do need to really want this to start making those changes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and slowing
Definitely.
down is a massive part of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so many people are scared to slow down. So that kind of leads me to the next question. What is your biggest challenge now, having done all the work that you've still done in the slow space? What is still your biggest challenge to try and slow down?
So my biggest challenge is actually focus and concentration.
I think a few people listening would be able to, attune with that. Carry on.
Yeah, definitely. Because I feel like I've got the work-life balance going pretty well, like we've discussed.
Yeah.
I'm able to pick up my daughter from school and I make sure I do my meditation in the morning, yoga at lunchtime, journaling in the evening. But the biggest challenge is actually focusing and concentrating on getting the things done in my schedule.
Yeah.
So, a way that I've found to try and overcome that is recently I've started putting my phone on silent.
Good.
So I just answer it when I choose to.
Yep.
So I'm not reactive.
Yep.
And likewise with the social media notifications, I again just choose to look at them when I'm able, whether that be once or twice a day.
Yep.
That is also in my schedule.
Yes. Hey, you're a businesswoman and a successful one. And the reality is, we all deal in the social media space nowadays. But that is an amazing strategy. It's one I use too. All the notifications on all my social platforms are turned off. And I don't tend to spend too much time dabbling in that space because, look, at the end of the day, I work in mental health. And if you're going to spend a lot of your time hanging around in Facebook for things that aren't productive, it's not going to be helping your mental health. You're only going to get a very specific and jaded, highly polished view of most people's worlds.
That's right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 And watch the fear of missing out start to build up when that's the case. Yeah,
Definitely. Yeah.
yeah. Okay, so how do you think a business can actually benefit when the leaders of an organization can actually slowly and consciously move their leadership towards a place that's far more impactful and mindful?
Yeah, I think businesses can definitely benefit from this. I think they'll notice that there's a lot less chaos.
Hmm.
So having an environment that actually removes the chaos and creating an environment that is a lot more calm allows people to actually feel like they want to be there.
Yeah,
And if people actually want to be there, then they're going to be, more efficient. They're going to want to work and actually put in more effort.
yeah.
So I think, creating a environment like that will be very beneficial for businesses.
Yeah, look, the term psychological safety is going around a lot at the moment, and it's an amazing concept because at the end of the day, towards the end of my corporate career, I didn't feel safe at work. Now, that wasn't a physical threat to me, it was a psychological threat. And if, if I was brave enough at the time to have owned up to it, I probably would have brought that to management and we could have probably worked through some of that stuff. But you don't know what you don't know, as we've
Yeah,
said.
that's right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so the more we talk about it, the better we can help people make these leaders understand that their job is for people to want to follow them and not just to drag them along kicking and screaming.
absolutely. Create that conducive, nurturing environment.
Yeah. So, Amy, what would be your one take home message for people that are a bit too scared right now to even think about the idea of slowing down their world? Because, it can, like we've mentioned, both of us have mentioned, that the universe has slapped us in the face multiple times to get us to slow down. And, I know the universe is always listening, so I've had enough of that. Thank you very much. I am slowing down. For those people that are out there are just going, actually, no, I can't slow down. It's a weakness. I'll get left behind. I have this fear of missing out. What would be your one take home message for those people?
So I think in order to look at your life and see where you can start to slow down and actually consider where that might be and how you might be able to do that. So look at what does work-life balance look like for you
Yep.
and consider it in a realistic form. So how is it going to work? And put it into your schedule and make sure that it is achievable. Don't make it too hard for yourself, otherwise, you're not going to do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, you want to make it easy and even try and make it fun.
Yeah.
Like, put things in that you enjoy, that give you energy, that don't drain your energy.
Yeah.
And so consider the what, the why, the how, and as well as that, consider the connection to yourself. So
Yes.
if you've got that connection to yourself, then you'll be guided by your values in order to stick to the what, the why, and the how.
Beautifully said. Well done.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people out there that message is going to hit home for. So, Amy, I just want to actually do a few bit of a shout out to you. You are about to launch a book in 3 months from now, so about around October-ish.
Yes, that's right. I'm very
Yeah.
excited.
What's the name of the book?
So my book is called My Life on Eggshells.
Yeah. And
And
what are people going to learn from reading this book?
yeah, it's about my domestic violence journey. So, over a 10-year period. And the reason why I've written the book is so people can understand what's involved in a domestic violence journey. What does it look like? How do you get into it? How are you brainwashed? How do you feel like you can't escape? So, there's lots of different angles in there, a lot of different forms. So, there's
Yeah.
physical, financial, psychological abuse, as well as narcissism and some key fun words like gaslighting and love bombing.
Yeah, we hear those words quite a bit nowadays. Well, I certainly do
Yeah,
in my clinic.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
So I find that the people who are buying it are either other survivors,
Yeah.
so they can relate to my journey,
Hmm.
as well as friends and family who actually just don't understand
Yeah.
what their loved one has gone through or is going through.
Absolutely. Look, as somebody, I haven't grown up in a domestic violence situation, but I have people very, very close to me in my family that have. And for me on the outside, this kind of information is brilliant to understand somebody else's world. Yeah. I shouldn't use the word understand because at no point am I ever going to absolutely understand it, but I can certainly start to appreciate the things that can be triggered, what they have gone through, and how I can personally help hold a safe space for them in that scenario. So,
That's right.
Amy, can people pre-order your book?
Yes, they can. I've launched the
Oh,
pre-release now,
good.
which is really exciting. So there is a discount at the moment until the launch actually happens in person in October. So I've got a link for that where there's
Great. So what's your website so people can come and find out more?
So my website is thefreedommentor.com.au.
Beautiful. I will also put any of the links to Amy's social media and her book, etc., in the description and comments. So if you guys know someone that could really do with this book and also could absolutely benefit from working with Amy, please just jump on, contact me, and I'll put you in contact with Amy, or otherwise you can head to her website or her social media platforms to find out with her. Amy, thank you so much for your time today. It's been absolutely brilliant getting to know you a little bit more and allowing the people that are listening today and watching us understand from all over the world, understand what it is that you do as the Freedom Mentor.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate you having me on here.
That's okay. And thank you for joining me in the Slow Leadership Movement.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.